Hello and welcome to another one of D's ADD videos. Today we're going to be looking at the concept of oblique triangles and the various things you need to know about them, like the law of sines, of cosines, and the area. So what is an oblique triangle? Well, it's a triangle that has no right angles. And this is a basic depiction of the triangle. And notice that the angle is always the same letter as the opposite side. One of them is uppercase and the other one's lowercase. Sometimes you might see Greek letters with these where A is alpha, B is beta, and C is gamma. So just in case you don't know what your Greek letters are, don't panic if you see these symbols here. So alpha could be that, gamma for C looks like that, and beta kind of looks like a B. Oops, that was a very ugly beta. Let's try that again. There you go, much better. All right, so first thing we can do is find the area. The easiest way to look at the area for these concepts is it's the product of the two sides and then the angle that corresponds to the sides that aren't there. So in other words, AB, well, what side's missing here? C, so we use angle C. Or BC, and what angle's missing there? A. Or what leg's missing there? So we use A. AC, what leg's missing between these two? B, so we use angle B. All right. Then as far as the law of sines versus cosines go, when do we use them? Well, law of sines are going to be these three: angles, included side angle, side angle, or angle side. And then law of cosines is going to be side or side angle side. The way I remember it is I just try to look at the beginning letter and the last letter. If it starts with an S and ends with an S, it's going to be your law of cosines. Otherwise, it's going to be the law of sines. Again, starts with an S, ends with an S, cosines. All right, so what are the actual laws? Law of cosines, the way I remember it is a squared equals the cosine of that angle, but everything else has to do with the other two legs. So it's square the leg, and then twice the product, minus twice the product. So b squared is going to have cosine of the b, or beta, and then square the other two legs, then minus twice the product. Same thing for c squared. See the pattern? Hopefully you do. The law of sines is sine A over A, B over B, and C over C. And don't forget that the sum of a triangle always equals 180 degrees. With that information, you should be able to solve these laws of sines and cosine problems. So again, what I recommend you do when you're doing these is use whatever law that you need to get going. If you need the law of cosines, use it, but then once you get to a point where you can use the law of sines, that's a lot easier to solve than these big long equations here for the law of cosines. So you might use the law of cosines for the first step, but then once you get the missing leg or angle that you wanted, then go immediately to that. Okay, it's a lot quicker. And the law of sines has a couple scenarios in which there's no solution, or the ambiguous case when there's two solutions. Mainly you got to work it to where whenever you're dealing with the law of sines, and let's say you get sine of A equals 3. Well, you know that sine can never be above 1 or below -1, so here you would write no solution. Or let's say that you get sine of some angle equals 1/2. Well, we know that the angles of a triangle have to be between 0 and 180, and there are two angles that have a sine of 1/2, and it's going to be 30 degrees or pi over 6, and 5 pi over 6 or 150 degrees if you prefer degrees. Now, each of these will create two different triangles. Okay, So you need to determine, I'm just just using numbers here. You will need to determine both solutions when that occurs. And I'll show you an example of the two solution case as well as the no solution case. But you don't really need to draw them unless you're asked to, which I doubt you will be asked to. Just know that there's sometimes that it won't work, and it's probably a no solution case, or sometimes in which you'll have two triangles with different angles in each triangle. Okay? I've cleared things up a little bit. Make sure you check out the example videos for law of cosines and law of sines, and probably one with an area as well. I hope you practice. Thank you and have a nice day.